Oh.
Big dog.
What up, dog?
Man,
Oh, boy. What's happening with you?
Good
to see you, too.
Hey, good to see you, baby. Yes,
I
sir.
ain't getting the memo, dog. Everybody else got on all black except me. I'm missing something.
Good to see y'all.
Good to see you. You know what, though? It's good you got on different colors today, though, man. You mixing it up.
For sure.
Because I am the all black.
You all black king.
Ooh.
Hey, Freddie, what's that saying? Can't hide money.
Hey, I don't care about nothing else. That paddock,
I appreciate it.
that's what I'm
appreciate
talking
it.
about.
You see,
Yes,
Freddie T?
sir.
That's so high end for me. I ain't even know what it was.
Oh, that's the big dog.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
I mean, when you earn the money, though, you're supposed to take care of yourself.
Hold up, limitless, niggas to me can't pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, get me up. On the mission, get me up. Knowing me, I got the key. Only vision I can trust. Trust, limitless, niggas to me can't pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, get me up. On the mission, get me up.
We've done it once. People don't know that. We've
Yeah.
done it one time, but we feel like we didn't do it in the right way to do you the justice that you deserve. We got Chan here, Freddie T. I'm RC. Welcome to The Pivot. A lot of people know Maxx Crosby's story, know how huge of a pivot that he's had to make in life, the adversities he's come through. And I think that story has been told to our partners at Happy Dads. We appreciate y'all, to all the subscribers. I don't want to drag through that story necessarily. I am a big fan of October babies. I was born on October 12th, 1979. So real close to a date that's going to be special to you for the rest of your life. Ella Rose was born on October 13th, 2022. I've gotten pictures of you just texting, checking on you throughout the season. It's just you being in a happy place no matter what was going on, because you had that purpose now of being a father. What have these months with your baby meant to you?
Honestly, it's been incredible. You know, obviously during the season, there's a lot going on, and it's just like another part of the journey. You know, having a child, like the bye week was lined up perfectly. You know, luckily, but just being able to, you know, have to come home. I'm gone for 14 hours a day of football, and then I got to be a dad, and just dealing with all that and learning how to, you know, take care of my family. You know, be there, you know, for my daughter, doing a little heavy lifting, you know, every day. And I think that's just, you know, a testament to Rachel being there, taking care of her, and just us coming together closer, because it's not easy. You know how it is. It's an everyday process. So, yeah, you know, that was a big challenge, but it's been incredible. You know, I've been there every day with her, so it's been.
If you ever need any notes, we all are girl dads.
Yeah.
But this guy, we out here grinding, right? We working our butts off. This guy, he leaves, he goes to his daddy-daughter dance,
Come right back.
and he comes back to chop it up with you. So, personal note, this is the
sacrifice
girl dad goat right here. So
The sacrifice it takes for the
Sacrifice.
babies. Yeah. Man, you
appreciate
you
it.
wild. That's why I think they're trying to keep us apart, because I'm a little wild, a little bit too, Max. But it's funny that Fred brings up the girl dad thing, because my daughter, and I'm sure your daughter, like, they love you to death.
Oh yeah.
I do not want my daughter to marry a guy like me.
No.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Have you thought about that? Because my daughter, she just turned 10. Have you thought about that? Like, she's gonna love me to death, know me, but I don't want her to marry me.
No. Yeah, see, at the end of the day, like, that's something I always thought about. You know, what is it gonna be like when my daughter brings somebody to the house? She's only 4 months, so I haven't really thought about, you know, I haven't gotten that far. But yeah, you know, I feel like God works in mysterious ways, and I feel like guys like us, you know, we have daughters for a reason. It changes our perspective. So that's kind of the way I looked at it, because when I found out Rachel was pregnant, I was like, I'm having a boy. Like, I was trying to manifest that I'm doing it. And Rachel was like, it's a girl. And I kind of, like, deep down, I kind of, like, knew it was going to be like that. So I feel like things work out for a reason. And, you know, it's definitely opened my eyes a lot, for sure.
Hey, Max, you said before that you put Rachel through hell. How much, in your journey, how much credit do you give her for, now that she's the mom, the love of your life, how much credit do you give her for your success?
A ton. I was just having this conversation a couple days ago. You know, we've had a million ups and downs, and, you know, I went through it all. She went through my addiction. She was there through everything. You know, it's funny, I give her a ton of credit, because when I first met her, like, I was wild as hell in college, just partying, doing my thing, and she helped changed my direction of my, career, my future. She helped me. She was cooking me meals and bringing them to me in the morning so I could have meal prep and shit like that when I didn't even have the money to make food. So she was just trying to help me. And then, she was 2 years older. So once she graduated, I was still at Eastern, and she decided, she made the sacrifice for me to stay with me and help me out. And she was working full time and basically, helping pay bills.
Take
and
care of you.
I didn't have shit. So we were sleeping on a damn mattress on the floor. Like, that's when we first met. So yeah, we've been through it all together, and I appreciate, everything she brings to the table. She's a keeper for sure.
She has a quote that she felt like she was screaming down a dark hallway with you, and people were just telling her to deal with it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that has to be a very difficult place to be in. But you speaking about where you guys started, and now you're drafted and you runner up to the Rookie of the Year. Everything from the outside, the way you play the game, the intensity in which you approach it, the discipline you have when it comes to doing your job on the field, it makes people think, well, this young man has everything in order. You kind of alluded to what it's like to have a 14-hour workday and then come home and be a father.
Yeah.
Where you were burning the candles at different ends in your rookie season. How are you able to keep everything together, bro, living like that at night and then putting out that sort of output on the field?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know how the hell I did it.
Yeah,
To be honest, looking back now, like, I have such a wild, crazy routine, and I'm, from even a teammate's perspective and coaches, they're like, go home. Like, I'm already training right now. I'm already 2 weeks into training. So, like, I'm so obsessed with that, like, just being the best player I can be and perfecting what I do. So that shit isn't hard to me, because I know what hard is. Like, hard is waking up, staying out all night, hung the fuck over, and struggling to get out of bed, and then trying to operate on a daily basis in a football building, and you know what I mean? It's just like, it was impossible. Like, I was literally just running on fumes all the time. So now, like, my routine is so tightly wound that it's just, I don't know any other way. And, looking back, like, I don't know how I got through it, but I found a way. I was still able to produce, but deep down I knew, like, I wasn't the best I could be, and I knew it wasn't gonna last. So it got to a point where it was like, all right, I'm either gonna keep doing this shit and be, a cool story, and, Maxx made it from Eastern, or I can go and be the best at what I do in the world. And that's what I feel like I'm doing right now, and I still got work to do, but that's my goal. I want to be the best in the world, and that's why I push myself the way I do.
I get opportunity to watch every game. And, I just shoot you a text. Even when things weren't going great for the team this year, I was like, dog, you're doing your thing. And he was like, nah, I got more.
Yeah.
And speaking of living the life you were, and you saying coming to work and being hungover and doing those different things, and now speaking or talking about working out already, or what your day is like, people telling you to go home. People with addictive personalities, like I kind of have a personality like that too. Like, I get fixated on things, and I have to replace certain habits with others if I want to come out of those old habits.
Yeah.
Has your focus on football heightened since working through your addiction?
Yeah, it's gone to a whole different level. Like, when I've never loved football as much as I do now, just because the attention to detail that I have now, all my attention, like you said, it's all on one thing. Like, this window in the league is not that long. If you play 15 years, that's not a long time in the grand scheme of things. So, yeah, like, after my second year, once I got shit clean and I started, like, seeing the bigger picture, it gave me the opportunity to just, all right, I'm gonna give everything I got into this, and we'll see where it takes me. And literally just in 2 years, I went from, a middle of the road DN to an all-pro. So I feel like I'm just getting started. So that's the thrill for me now. It's not going out to the club until 3 a.m. It's like, how good can I possibly be? Because nobody would ever thought what I did, what I've done so far just in 4 years. And the crazy thing is, like, deep down, I know I got so much more to give, and that's my, my purpose, my challenge every day.
And man, as the story reads, it was one night that changed it. You woke up in the morning, looking in the mirror, and you just knew a change had to happen. How crazy was that night? Because I had, I was partying and all. I probably had alcohol problem that I didn't address at the time. But even in college, man, I got locked up. twice. Got arrested 4 times.
Yeah.
Waking up, you know what I'm saying? Throwing up, doing ladders up UF Stadium. Cause I'm drunk. I'm throwing up Hennessy. Like, and none of that ever clicked to me. It never clicked to me. I'm sure you had some long days. Why did that morning click to you?
Honestly, it was like an accumulation of like 4 or 5 days. Like it's funny. Like I called my agent. I called Rachel. And this was like 2 weeks before, and I called them. I'm like, listen, I need to get help. Like, I don't know what I got to do, but like, y'all got to help me out. Like, this shit ain't working. I talked to them. I was sober for like 10 days, just like strong-arming it basically. And I was just in Vegas alone, basically. And I was kind of just waiting for this guy. He's one of the best people I know, Scotty. He was gonna come like on Tuesday and come see me. Like, he's basically does interventions, things like that. And he was gonna come talk to me, and I didn't know if he was just gonna take me straight to rehab. I didn't know what it was gonna be. He was coming on Tuesday, and it was a Saturday, and I was just gonna chill in the house, just, whatever. And then there was a UFC fight that night, and I was like, I got tickets front row. Like, I was contemplating back and forth, but I kind of knew deep down, like, I probably shouldn't go. And I was, like I said, I was 10 days sober. I went to the UFC fight, had 1 drink, and then it turned to like 4 or 5 days straight until Scotty got there on Tuesday. So he basically kidnapped my ass, and I was like fucked up, and I was out all weekend in Vegas doing crazy shit, just all over the place. So yeah, I woke up that morning, like my body, like physically, I was like just fucking dehydrated, felt terrible, like the worst of the worst. Like I felt like I was dying. So like it got that bad. And it's just scary. Like, that shit is crazy. I never felt like that before. I looked in the mirror and like didn't even fucking recognize myself. So that was where it got to a point of like, what am I doing? Like, this shit is not gonna last. And yeah, it just kind of clicked for me at that moment.
March 11, 2020, you check into rehab.
Yeah.
Fast forward 2 years later, you sign a stupid ass. The Raiders couldn't give you $6 more million to make it 100, bro.
Yeah, that was a whole controversy.
Or at least, maybe even 4 more to match your number.
Yeah.
But you signed a deal, a multi-year extension 2 years after you check yourself in rehab on the exact same date.
Yeah.
And we've seen guys get all this money, and some guys can fall into complacency, and just kind of, I'm good, I'm set for life. How do you stay motivated and not slip back along that path that you just spoke about, those times in Vegas?
Like I said, God works in mysterious ways. Like we didn't plan it to be, I'm gonna sign my contract on the day I got sober. It just happened to be, we were in negotiations for about a week straight. And the night before, I get a call from my agent. We got it, boom, we're at a good place. He broke it down to me. I'm like, let's do it. Like, I'm with it. So it just happened to be the next day was the day I got sober. So I didn't, publicly, I didn't go out and say, yo, I'm signing this deal. Like, I literally just posted my sobriety day. So that was like a big deal. And then 2 hours later, I ended up signing and they announced it and everything. But, the thing about the complacency part, like I said, that's another challenge for me. And I feel like from the outside world, everybody expects the guy that gets paid, okay, now he's gonna just chill. And I feel like that's a common theme in professional sports. Guys get their bag and they chill out. And for me, it's I don't play for the money. The money is amazing, I love it. I'm set, my kids are set, she can go whatever school she wants to. All that's amazing. But at the end of the day, I love football. There's nothing more that, anything on earth besides my daughter that, I love more than football. This game has literally given me everything. And I truly, I'm a Rod Marinelli product, so, I truly appreciate the shit, from the 1960s. I have books that he gives me from the 50s and 60s and makes me read the shit just to appreciate what football is all about. Because at the end of the day, if you put in all the work and you do all the shit right, I feel like the football gods reward you. It's just like anything else. If you're LeBron James, there's a reason why he just broke the record, because he's been putting in the work when nobody's looking. And that's what it's all about for me, is giving the respect to the game, because that shit comes back twofold. And I truly believe in that. So yeah, going into last season, that was the challenge in my head. I'm I know from the outside world, they don't think I'm gonna go out and go crazier than I already did. People thought I hit my, my peak when I had 100 pressures and all this shit, but I'm I know I could be better.
Right.
And so this season, that's what it was all about for me. I went out and did my thing, and from an individual perspective, but it's tough. on top of it when we're losing. So it's like you don't get all the flowers, but deep down, like Alexis, who works with me every day, she walked into the apartment, I'm watching my game film this morning. Just like, that's how much I put into it. Like I truly, like I put everything into it and I want to be the best. And like, at the end of the day, if I don't become it, become the number one guy, undisputed, I know I'm gonna do, everything I do to get to that point. So, yeah, just about paying respect to the game.
And listening to you, obviously talking about your daughter, also the work you put into the game and the love you have for it. Mm-hmm. The question many athletes get is, what's your why?
Yeah.
And your story to me is so much bigger than the why to play football. Mm-hmm. Channing mentioned the night, and you explained how you got to the point where it was okay, you got kidnapped by Scotty, and it was time on March 11th, 2020 to make it right. But at that point, you had football, which you obviously love. You'd been with Rachel. Mm-hmm. What was the final why that said, I have to get myself together in order to accomplish all of these other things that I want?
For me, like, I'm not a super religious guy or anything like that, but I truly believe, there's something out there bigger than me. I believe in a higher power. I believe that things happen for a reason. And that's kind of what opened my eyes. Like, I feel like everybody's put in certain positions and it's like a test. Every single day is a test. There's gonna be certain shit that comes at you and you can react however you wanna react. And, for me, I feel like my purpose is, like you said, not only to play football, but be an example for kids that are going through the same shit I went through. And that's something I really had to look myself in the mirror and be like, listen, this is not just about me. Like, there's kids, like, I don't even realize it sometimes. Like, I'm a homebody, I'm in the house all the time. But like, just going out, like this past weekend, like, I couldn't even walk to a casino because 100 kids are running up and wanting, to sign their jerseys and shit like that. Yeah. And they're telling me, there's grown-ass men that come up to me 50 years old. They're like, listen, man, I literally got sober because of you. You have no idea how much you mean to me. Like, that's the shit that's just bigger than football for me. So, yeah, my purpose is, I don't even think I'm close to, where I'm gonna be as just as a man and individual, and I don't know how big it can go. But every single day, I'm gonna just keep making deposits and keep building what I'm doing because I know it's helping people out there. I know my story has touched, thousands of people, and I just want to keep doing that and set the example not only as a player but as as an individual and somebody who overcame a lot of shit.
Football was a big piece of the change, a big cog in the change. I would say it also enables people because I would say, to my point, getting arrested. But then when I go sit up with the chief police of Gainesville and the head coach and the AD at Florida, they're talking about football still. Yeah. Hey, he suspended 2 games. I need him week 2 against Tennessee. I'm watching this go on, and I'm like, Tennessee game is bigger than disciplining me for what I just did. Mm-hmm. And then I would look at it and say, hey, I get in trouble, get arrested, but I'm still an All-American. I'm still All-SEC. Yeah. I can't be that bad off because how successful I am off the field.
Yeah.
Did you ever think that way when you were going through a problem? Like, I can't be an alcoholic.
Yeah.
I'm balling.
No, it's facts. Like, and I feel like just as a younger guy, like I was 19 years old, like I thought I had the whole world figured out and I thought, I was untouchable. But I feel like that just, at that age, like when you're having all that success, then you have, friends and family be like, oh no, you're good, blah, blah, you're doing great. I'm like, oh, all right, I'm good. But deep down, I know I'm fucked up. Like, that's like the hardest part is because you're trying to like balance that and just try to put on an act basically, thinking you're fine. But like deep down, I think everyone knows, what's going on with you. Why is my mood bad on this day? Like, you just know everybody's got deep down issues and you got to deal with it, how you got to deal with it. But I feel like that's just a part of, maturing is just realizing fuck everybody else, respectfully, fuck everybody else. You got to really look out for yourself at the end of the day and take care of yourself, before anything, because I can't have a great relationship with my daughter if I'm fucked up and in my feelings and hiding shit. I can't have a great relationship with Rachel if I'm fucking around and being a dickhead. Like, it all ties together. So, for me, I feel like that's just the biggest part of, maturation is just looking yourself in the mirror and realizing, like, okay, I definitely, I got issues. I got to address them and, just learn from it.
Hey, Max, you spoke about balancing acts and dealing with issues. And I also recall you saying that your addiction was caused by social anxiety. You know, and then you speak about the kids running up on you, the fans running up on you, which can bring social anxiety to the forefront. How are you managing that these days?
Honestly, it's funny because like as a kid, like my brother was the star. My brother was a tall, skinny, handsome dude, got every girl. I was a middle child, red hair, chubby, didn't play. Nobody fucked with me, so I'm like, fuck that. I was mad at my brother, you know what I mean, for no reason, because he was the man. And so like, that's like a part of it. Like how I started drinking was just trying to fit in, and it just made me more confident. So it was like that liquid courage everyone talks about. Like that's kind of how it started for me. So nowadays, like I'm about to be 3 years sober next month, and like you said, walking through a casino, I have all these kids coming up and shit like that. It's like in my head, my ego, like deep down, it's like the coolest thing ever. But at the same time, like I feel like I don't deserve it. Like that's a part of my like growth as a person, is just like understanding like I earned a lot of the shit I do. I work endlessly, for everything I have, and I'm the first one to give, take care of people and give out. And like sometimes I feel like I don't give myself enough credit. And Rachel gets mad at me all the time. She's like, because I told her about the situation, like it was crazy going to Vegas and seeing all these people and how they reacted to me nowadays. It's like I don't even realize like, where I've gone and taken myself as an individual. I just look at myself as Max from Eastern. I walk into a gas station with a chain on my neck and not even think about it.
Right.
And which is stupid, but sometimes it's like, at the end of the day, like I'm just a normal person. Like I've never changed. I feel like just being genuine, is helpful, but just like growing and seeing like how big things are, have gotten recently. It's like, I have to really take a step back, but it's not like a social thing. It's not like I'm nervous when people are running up. Like it's the coolest thing in the world because, for me, like I was that same exact kid. Like if I would have seen freaking, like growing up in Michigan, if I was seeing Kelvin Johnson or Dominican Sue or something, I would have lost my mind. So like every time I see a fan or something like that, I'm always signing. I'm always the last guy signing stuff because I know how much that that fan's gonna appreciate it. So. Yeah, it's been a lot, it's been a lot of balance, but at the end of the day, like, I'm always in the crib. Like, I'm a homebody. I got 3 crazy-ass pit bulls. I got a daughter. I got, a fiance. So, like, I like being in the house and just having my family and my closest people, around me. And I just, try to keep it simple.
Our world is different. The thing that's beautiful about locker rooms is that it brings all these different people together. And if you actually ever have conversations that aren't about football, you realize like we all got stuff.
Hell yeah.
And
sure.
Everybody's stuff may not be as deep or as dangerous or as dark as the others, but we're all dealing with things. And the thing that brings us together is that we're trying to win football games.
Yeah.
Right? Like you take your shit, you check it, you're gonna take yours and check it, and we're gonna try to go out and win. And you mentioned your individual success this year, but also last year. Last year was the year that put you on the map, that made everyone look at you and understand the Pro Bowl caliber play, the All-Pro caliber play. And you showed that again this year at a heightened level. But you didn't have the success. When we spoke to you the first time, it was, okay, Coach Bisaccia got us to this point. We were 10-7. We were a touchdown away from advancing to the divisional rounds. And now we got Josh McDaniels. And now we got Devontae. And we have Derek Carr. The year doesn't go as planned, but you're balling. How did you deal with that as a leader? Because ultimately, when you do get your money, when you are getting that individual success, the way that it's seen, the way that people get gold jackets, the way that people continue to get publicized is because they're playing in meaningful games. Yeah. So how was that for you dealing with the way this season went?
Yeah, I think, Coach Marinelli hit it right on the head before the year. And he's like Yoda. Like, anything he says, it happens. And I believe it. Like, for the year, he called me, and we talk every day, literally. And he's like, this is going to be the hardest year of your career. I'm like, what are you talking about? I didn't understand what he was talking about. Looking back, it was 100% the hardest year of my life. And I didn't understand what that was going to look like. And just when it comes down, just from a football standpoint, all the things that were going on, the change, having success, but also trying to be a leader when you're blowing leads every other week. It's like, it really tests you, but it's also like it opens your eyes to why you do this shit. Because all the money in the world, all this, individual fame, all that shit, that's cool. But it made me realize why I do this shit and why I love it. There's nothing more that bothered me than losing the every single game. Like, we're 6-11. We got Devontae, the leading rusher in the league. We got Chandler. Like, from the outside, we were supposed to be Super Bowl contenders. So when you're in that and you're constantly losing and everyone's just shitting on us 24/7, it makes you realize why you play this game and why you do it. And even if it's from a negative perspective, like, I realize that the money and all that's cool, but I love this shit. I truly care about it. That shit, I would be going home like fucking sick. I wouldn't even talk. I would just go in my little theater and I would just watch the film and I'll be mad as fuck and like just going through a million things in my head. And that's the tough part. It's like the NFL, every single game you have to earn. Like, it's not easy. And that's what it makes you appreciate it. Like, last year, we won every single close game. This year, we lost every single close game. So, it was a tough year. There's so many ups and downs, so much change, so much chaos, but, that's just a part of the league. You can either fold and let that affect you, or you can just show up and be the same guy. And that's kind of, as a leader, like, that was, I feel like I took another big step because we had guys injured all the time. We had dudes off the practice squad starting, 2 days later. And it just, it was a big challenge. And I feel like it'll definitely pay off, and I'll look back and be like, yeah, that season happened for a reason.
A big question I have as a defensive player, the one thing that I hated the most, and I always felt this way, that if they gave us a lead, we got to keep the lead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you give me enough points. And if at any point a team is trailing and it's not about turnovers and we aren't giving up field position in special teams, like, we got to do what we have to do.
Yeah.
Y'all get Baker Mayfield on 2 or 3 days, being in the building for the Los Angeles Rams, and y'all are up in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
He drives and he makes some big throws down the field. It ends with a go ball to the left side of the football field. And as a leader on the defense and the team, because that's what you are, that had to be such a low point in a season of lows.
Yeah.
Take me to the locker room after that game finishes.
Yeah, honestly, I think that was the lowest point of the season because we finally were starting to figure it out. We went to Seattle. We got that huge win. We won, I think, 3 in a row, and we're like, all right, people start talking about us again, like, okay, this is what the Raiders are supposed to look like. So we go to that game. Defensively, we're whooping their ass all game. And we just kept letting them hang around. And then all of a sudden, like, there was no thought in my head that we're going to lose this game. Like, there's no fucking chance. And we go in the last drive. We get me and Chandler split a sack on, like, the second play of that last drive. Then we get a 15-yard penalty on some just stupid shit. And then, it's just like, can't get out of our own way. And like, as a leader and as like you said, like being on that defense, that's the shit that I take personal because I'm supposed to be the leader of the defense. That shit falls on me at the end of the day. And I could look at it and be hard on myself, but like, that's the tough part about it. Like, I you don't know. Like, I can make 5 plays, but the 6th play, they still go over your head and they score. So that's the tough thing. It makes you think a lot, and think, what can I do more? And there's always more I can do. It's just, I just think from as a defensive standpoint, we need dogs. We need a bunch of dogs. It can't just be, 2 or 3. It's got to be a whole unit that's on the same page. And like, that's, for me, like, that's something I take super serious. Like, going into this offseason, I can't wait till April so I can get, whoever we're going to get. And this is what the standard's going to be. And I can't wait to, lead that and set the example. But, to your point, like, that Rams game was, that shit, I couldn't even believe it. Like, that flight back was just, like, silent. Nobody's talking. Nobody had any words. It was just like, damn, like, we really just fucking blew that.
Right.
And yeah, it was tough.
Being a leader on the team, being an old guy, being an OG, being a $100 million dude, young dudes gonna look up to you. You're the leader.
Yeah.
When the team's having turmoil, and you said who we're gonna get. We know we're talking about Derek Carr, the quarterback position, and all that stuff. How do you articulate to the young guys, or what do you say to them when things are going off the rails on that plane ride back? Like, how do you be that leader and explain what's going on in this league and explain turmoil with being a guy that really don't, I would guess, like to talk to people. You're not a real extrovert like that.
When it comes to football, like, I'm not like a shy dude. I'm very like, if I f with you, if I know you, I'm 100% myself. But if I'm not like, I don't know you, like I'm not just gonna walk up, hey, how you doing? Like, you know what I mean? That's just not me. But when it comes to football, like, those are my brothers. And at the end of the day, like, they look at me as a leader. They voted me a captain. They voted me commitment to excellence. Like, they know what I do every day and they know what I want for this team. And so, especially in those moments, like, when it's hard as fuck, like, you gotta realize, and one of my coaches told me this year, like, everybody's watching you. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, regardless if you like it or not, everyone's looking to me when shit goes bad. Like, all right, Mac, it's time. Like, we need to make a play. We have to get a stop. They're looking to me to be the leader in that. And that's where, you know, as a young player, like, I'm only 25 years old, but it's a different responsibility now. Like, I'm a captain. It's not, you know, I'm not thinking, I can't just emotionally react and fucking lose my shit on the sideline, and they're all gonna think that shit's okay. So it's like, you gotta, you know, put your ego aside and realize that everyone's got eyes on you. And I remember, you know, after that Rams game, we were on the plane, it's literally silent. Like, nobody's talking. And I was disgusted, you know, about, you know, the 15-yard penalty. Just in that moment, I was so mad. And it was one of our new D tackles. We just signed Tillery. I love Tillery. He's awesome. And he was on the plane, and he just seen the look in my face. Like, I wasn't gonna, you know, I wasn't mad. Like, I wasn't gonna fucking snap on him or whatever. It was over at that point. But we just, like, we were walking through the hall, grabbing a snack, whatever, and he just standing there, and he looks at me, and, like, he just, like, got quiet and was like, bro, I'm so sorry. I'm like, bro, don't apologize to me. Said at the end of the day, you already know what it is. Everyone's made a mistake. And that's what it was. But that's what I feel like being a leader is. Like, I could sit there and snapped on him and went to the media and be like, fuck, get rid of his ass. Why do we even bring him in here? But at the end of the day, it's in a heated, crazy environment. Obviously, you can't do that. But just the fact that he knew he messed up. Everyone knew he messed up. The whole world was shitting on him. Like, we had that one-on-one moment where I was like, bro, don't even worry about it. I was like, I'll see you tomorrow. Like, yeah. It is what it is. We got to move past it. We could either cry about it and, you know, just dwell on it, or we learn from it. And that's the hardest part, is just being patient, especially after you lose so many close games. And then that was like the ultimate. Little moments like that, I feel like, you know, that's what being a leader is all about.
Hey, speaking of everybody having eyes on you, we all got social media.
Yeah, of course.
We've been seeing you dogging these dudes on the basketball court. Yo, we know the Raiders see that too. Josh McDaniels, he called you yet? Like, hey, 12 personnel, opposite Darren, we need you to come play tight end. You also say it's about the more you can do. You ready for the package?
Trust me, I'm not going to speak on that as far as football, but trust me, I've had my conversations with Josh. But yeah, I always want to be a tight end at the end of the day. So yeah, I'm definitely open to that. But yeah, I love basketball. Like, I love playing basketball. I see Josh and them every day. Like, I'm in the building early as hell, so I always catch them after breakfast. And the GM, he called me. He's like, just be careful. Do your thing. He's like, you can do your thing. I love you running around. I'm like, I know. I played in 2 basketball games. I'm good. So, but yeah, I love just the competition, and especially this time of the year. Like, I need it. Like, I love, you know, changing it up a little bit and hooping. I started playing basketball in 1st grade. Like, I thought I was gonna be in the NBA, but I only got, you know, if I was 6'9", maybe. But
you the best basketball player on the team?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Tay?
Tay's probably up there. It's probably me and Tay. I haven't hooped with Tay, but I've heard Tay's like that, and he showed me shit. But I think the guys will tell you that too. I'm not trying to boost myself, but I've hooped with all of them.
He could go though.
Yeah, I seen
Yeah,
him.
he could go. Did you ever get the white boy thing growing up in hooping though?
Of course.
You know what
Of course,
I mean?
I played AAU. I was the only white dude. So yeah. Every time you walk on a basketball court, they're like, okay, he's either a shooter or he's a tryhard. I'm like, relax. So I don't even say shit nowadays. Even when I went to that park and I played the one video I just posted recently, the kid comes up to me, he's like, can you dunk? I'm like, tie my shoes. Fucking literally first 2 minutes, I boomed on somebody's shit, and I'm like, okay. Like, that's just kind of how it is, though, being the white guy. Everyone thinks you can't.
You're talking about basketball, but football-wise, like when the white boy walks out, there's offensive tackle and quarterback. Yeah. Oh yeah, that white guy can play that position.
Yeah.
It's funny, Caucasian doubt or something. It usually doesn't happen with white skin. It's usually the other way around. Have you overcome that now as an all-pro? Do people still look at you as like, man, this white boy, he's a white boy?
No, it's real. It is real. Like, I feel like, especially coming from Eastern, like, I've always had that label as, oh, he plays hard as hell, he's a try-hard, he's this. And I'm like, I know I'm more than that, but you're always gonna get labeled that as a white dude. So, you know, that's just something you gotta battle. But yeah, I feel like I definitely have overcome it. I feel like, you know, at the end of the day, when it comes to film and skill and all that and athleticism, like, I'm not just like you know, I feel like I'm my own person. So yeah, you know, I had to fight that for years, and I still feel like I have to fight it. But
yeah, they always give it to you to draft Mel Kiper. And this guy from Eastern Michigan, he's a high motor.
High motor, blue collar,
lunch pail.
Literally, I'm like, bro.
My boy Zach Thomas just got in the Hall of Fame,
Yep.
and that's all they talked about his career. He's leading the league in tackles.
Yes.
He just works hard. Working hard doesn't make you lead the damn league in tackles and go to 7 Pro Bowls,
Right.
but that's how they do y'all, man.
Oh yeah, you know, it's just
Y'all.
a part of the struggle. Said y'all.
Y'all.
That's just real though.
You guys have Chandler, and you're trying to put the pieces together. To take that step backwards is always difficult.
Yeah.
And now going into the off season, you know, I had the clip with Derek from Pro Bowl where I was like, hey man, you ever been this hot in Vegas? And he was like, nah, that's probably why I'm building a new team. You know what I mean? Which was, I could no longer be professional. Let me just say that. Like after he said that. But looking at to where you want to go as a team, and where you are right now, what are the pieces you feel like you guys need and have to get going into this season or into this off season?
You know, just starting on the defensive side, you know, I feel like we have room for improvement at every position. Like, we need corners, linebackers, D-line. Like, from a depth perspective, like, we had a lot of one-year guys. So a lot of those guys are gone. And I feel like the draft, like, obviously you got to build through the draft, but on top of it, bring in some free agent big dogs. Because at the end of the day, like, Devontae's going into year 10.
Yeah.
I'm in my prime right now. They're going into my prime. Josh Jacobs is leading the league in rushing. Like, we have a lot of big pieces on our team, and the window is not that not that big. So it's like, we got to get the right people in right now. Like, there's no time to wait. We don't want to wait 2-3 years to be in the playoff contention. Like, we were just in the playoffs with less as far as a talent perspective. So yeah, we're just trying to win now, and it's not easy. But yeah, I just want dogs around me, especially on the defensive side. Like, at the end of the day, I want guys who love football and are really gonna go out there and compete. Like, you know, I've been on a lot of, struggling defenses, and I hate that shit. I'm not used to that. When I was in college, we were #1 defense. We whooped everybody's ass, but we were all on the same page. And, we've taken a lot of steps. I feel like even this past season, like the second half of the year, we played much better. But you got to think about it. I've been in the league 4 years. I've had 3D coordinators. I've had 3D line coaches. Like, we need to establish something permanent and just keep growing on what we got and build on it. And that's all I want. I want stability. I want to be, like you said, I want to be in the best situation. I want to be in the big games. That's all you work for. You want to be on ESPN in January and February. You don't want to be sitting at home playing basketball and in playoff time. It's just not, it's not what I'm looking forward to. But yeah, at the end of the day, the offensive side, the quarterback position's huge. So there's a lot of rumors going around. Shit, I don't know, but I want to bring the best we can possibly bring in. So whether that's Rodgers or Jimmy G or I like Stidham too, who came in and played well. So whoever that's going to be, I trust the front office is going to make the best decision.
Max, there are big games and there are special games.
Yeah.
This year, you guys got an opportunity to play in the 50th anniversary game of the Immaculate Reception.
Yep.
Just days after losing Franco Harris. Coming up, did you know much about the Immaculate Reception?
Of course, especially with the Raiders. The Raiders' history. That shit displayed everywhere.
How special of a moment was it that night to be in Pittsburgh, Heinz Field? See them honoring Franco. Even though he was no longer here with us. How was it that night?
Yeah, honestly, that was, like you said, the special moment. That shit was different. We're playing Christmas Eve in Pittsburgh. It was freezing. like different type of freezing.
Been there,
like,
brother.
Oh, I already know. And I haven't played in, like I played in cold. I played at Eastern Michigan. It was cold. Like this is a different level of cold. It was freezing. And just the energy in the building, like just knowing I'm cold on the field. Like imagine how the guys feel. Like there's people paying thousands of dollars just sit in the stands and watch it. So like everyone was there for Franco that night.
Right.
Rest in peace to him. You know, it's crazy. Leading up to the game, we're like, oh, Franco Harris is going to be honored. And then boom, he passes away. And we're like, what? So it was just, you know, it was bittersweet in a way, but it was amazing. You know, that's one of those games I'll never forget. It was a great game, super close. And it was just like, you know, snowing, everything like that. That's, you know, what football is all about. So it was a special night.
I've done a lot in that stadium and had a lot of great moments. So I could just imagine how electric it was. I'm sure they played Renegade at some point in the second half, and everybody in there goes crazy. But that's the Pittsburgh Steelers legacy. That is the Oakland Raiders legacy. It's Las Vegas Raiders now, and it's defensively, it's Maxx Crosby's team. Your story is going to be written in many ways, in many different avenues. You know, there's going to be the story about your life and coming through that adversity, but there's going to have to be a story written about who you are as a football player. And we had the jokes earlier, you know, high motor, all of those things. But when you watch the film, you can see it go speed to power, right? You can see it in the TE games, the agility. You know, you can see the hand movement. Being that you have everything it takes to be one of those guys. You know, I kind of saw when the all-pro teams come out and these different things, you like expressing your feelings that I'm one of those dudes.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself right now in this game as compared to your contemporaries that play the position, and where do you want to go?
You know, I don't like to compare myself to anybody. You know, I feel like at the end of the day, I'm the best at what I do, you know, regardless of what, you know, anybody says. And I don't just say that. You know, I wouldn't have said that last year. I wouldn't have said that 2 years ago. I truly believe I'm the best. The thing is, I know I'm not the best version of myself. Yeah, I'm in those conversations. You know, at the end of the day, like, you know, they talk about me in that, but there's certain guys that they put on, you know, a slightly higher level. And so that's just a challenge for me. Like when they talk about TJ, they talk about Bosa, you know, people think there's a difference. And for me, it's like, I watch everybody. I watch every single rusher. I watch every single game that I play in, every rep. And I know I'm right there. But that's the challenge. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I trust in the longevity of what I'm doing. I feel like over time, it might take a little bit more time to people, you know, for people to truly give me that respect. But guys like Aaron Donald would inspire me. I don't want to be, you know, just one of the best. I want to be the best. Michael Jordan, the Kobes, like those are the people I look up to. The Mike Tysons, I watched a million documentaries on those guys. It doesn't matter what sport it is. The Conor McGregor's, when he was in his run, like I watched a million things on him. I like to think of myself in my own category, because at the end of the day, I feel like from an overall perspective, nobody's playing the game the way I'm playing. Like nobody, as a DN, I led my team in tackles and I led the league in TFLs. But, you know, certain things carry more weight, you know, from the outside perspective. So for me, it's just another challenge. Like, I know looking back, like if you just look at pure numbers, you know, that's undeniable, you know, the things I did. But, you know, for me, I feel like just over time, it's going to take a little bit more time. And once we start winning more and start bringing more pieces around me, I feel like it's only going to help my career and everything else. So, yeah, I'm trusting the process. I'm going to just continue to work, and it's just finding that 1% to improve on, no matter what it is. It's my pass rush, my you know, run defense, you know, my explosion, you know, in the weight room. What am I doing? How can I fine tune my, you know, routine? That's what I'm doing right now. So, you know, I started 2 weeks earlier this year. I sat down with my nutritionist, my strength coach. I'm in the building, you know, in January compared to, you know, I usually start a day after Super Bowl. But we got a little head start, doing things the right way, and just, you know, I'm gonna just keep going until I can't anymore, and that's really my goal. You know, I want to be one of those guys who was an icon of my era. One of the guys who are like, yeah, he wasn't like anybody else. Kobe was one of the best, but people talk about his mentality more than anything. And that's kind of, you know, I feel like I bring something different to the table. I got a great story, but the way I play, I feel like it's just different. You know, and that's what I stand on. You know, like you said, people make fun of me for playing hard. Now people, you know, ask me, like, how the hell are you in that? Like, how are you able to play 1,100 snaps at the end?
Right.
Nobody's doing that shit. So, yeah, I take it personal. Every single rep means the world to me. So I'm just trying to continue to find that little percentage in every way I can to get better.
And talking about that greatness, we had Mike Tyson on.
Yeah.
And I'm asking the same question I asked him to you. Why do y'all wear these tiny ass shorts with your damn thighs out? Is it sexy? Are you trying to show you have hamstrings? What, you always got these little ass shorts on, Max. I got to know.
Honestly, you know, I feel like just the big ass and one baggy shorts are out. You know, it's just not a thing anymore. It's kind of gone back to the Larry Bird type of deal. So, you know, I'm a Larry Bird fan, so I feel like you got to show off, you know, your legs a little bit, let them breathe. And yeah, that's kind of, you know, the way I look at it.
Hey, man, a lot of times, bro, we have a really serious show, and
I didn't know. Man, it's too damn big to be wearing them shorts.
It's a great question.
Yeah, you got drawers on? Can you wear drawers? You gotta wear thongs so they don't see the draw line.
Oh my God.
Hey, Max, man, we appreciate you, man, for taking the time, for telling your story, but also talking about what this game means to you. It means the same to all of us except for Channing. He didn't work out. Now, this is real talk. He didn't work out. He didn't train. He felt like when he got his life together, it made him a worse player. And so that is what.
Y'all took this football real serious, man. I had a job. You going to Walgreens, I'm headed to the Dolphin facility. I literally just had a job. Yeah, but you talking about not playing for money. I knew every game my exact check after taxes I was going to get. And I figured out now, Max, in the long run, talking to these guys, talking to the Hall of Fame we have, it might have been the wrong approach.
Just maybe. Just maybe.
But, man, we appreciate you, man. You're the true definition of what the pivot is, bro. And we're going to root for you all the time. And, you know, I'll shoot you a text every now and then when I see how it's going. My dog, appreciate you, bro.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Thank you, God.
Appreciate you, boy.
Sir, always.
Hey, he big on dude, too, though. Yeah, he big on dude.
I appreciate you, bro.
Hold up, limitless. Take a stomach, got pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up. On the mission, got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. Only vision I can trust. Trust, limitless. Take a stomach, got pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up. On the mission, got me up.